Hello YouTube and welcome back to another Agito live video. This time I'm going to be answering the question, which ship should you select from the Happy Lunar New Year 2024 character selector. I've got it up on screen. I've got the wiki page for all the characters open up, and I'm basically just going to talk about like why you would select each character over any other character, basically. Or what the advantages are of each character if you're looking for meta. And that's usually what it is, like, right? Like, that's really all it is. There really is no difference. Like, if you're someone who's missing one of these ships, you should probably, and you're trying to get 100% collection, you should probably select that ship. If you're looking to improve your account, however, in some way, shape, or form, then you should probably select, well, one of the following ships that I point out for you, basically. So let's just go ahead and jump right in it. So after you finish after you finish clearing the event and you get the selector and all that stuff, it will, you'll collect it from here. It'll go into your depot, and you just go into your items down here. You can go all the way down here, and then select it. This lovely little screen will pop up initially with Taiho here, one of my favorite waifus personally. But anybody asleep, just be able to click around and select each of the ships, things along those lines. So we'll go in order. The first ship is Taiho, right? So the first ship is Taiho. Taiho is a carrier with heavy armor and a lot of HP, right? She had a rework a while back that changed some of her skills. She's actually a very, very strong Sakura Empire ship carrier. If you have Hakuryu and Shinano, Taiho is one of the few Sakura Empire carriers that does not have like a pairing, right? A lot of the early Sakura Empire carriers in the game, like Akagi and Kaga, Shokaku and her sister, the other Crane. I cannot remember her name right now. Anyways, doesn't matter, not important. Shokaku is the only one that matters because she can actually put with a lot of people. Anyways, she doesn't need to be paired up with any other one, so you can slot her in with the other carriers like Shinano and Hakuryu and find good effect, right? So let's go ahead and just read her skills off real quick. We're just going to go ahead and read the skills. When this ship's, actually this is a module, because she has a module now too, which is actually a decent module. When the ship's airstrike is finished loading, she launches 2 additional randomly chosen airstrikes consisting of Ryusei's, Scion Squadron, or Scion Squadrons, with a 25% chance to launch the remaining squadron not chosen. Scions do not attack, instead increasing your main fleet's damage dealt by 10% for 8 seconds of launch, which is pretty good. And it decreases the damage the ship takes from enemy aircrafts and AGMO by 20%, which actually makes her a pretty decent flagship carrier. She already has heavy armor, right? So it's already going to take AP ammo to get through her anyways. And she has a lot of HP. And the reduction from airstrike damage is actually really good, especially in the later worlds, because there are a lot of airstrikes coming out. And there's a lot of destroyer enemies, and yeah, you would like to avoid that. So she's actually, her stats are good. The only other way to acquire her is through construction special and limited, and that was only during the first year event. So there's literally, yeah. So she's in the special drop, I think, now. So it's actually kind of hard to get her. It's actually not easy to get Miss Taiho here, but I think that she is one of the better choices out of all the ships in here. I think if you are just looking for a powerful carrier, like you don't have enough carriers yet, I think Taiho is a perfectly good choice. And let me look at her loadout again specifically. So she has 2 fighters, 3 dive bombers, and 3 torpedo bombers. So that's 3 Tenrais, 3 Wyverns shot off, or a couple of fighters. She's not going to be super great in the later worlds because fighters are king, but for damage in like Opsai or something along those lines, she'll probably do quite well for you. So also, she's just waifu, and she's voiced by Aoi, one of my favorite voice actors in all of voice acting. So I mean, what's not to love? What's not to love about Taiho? You have lots of options. So if you're a newer player, she's a very strong carrier that can help you a lot. If you're an older player and you need her for collection, grab her, or if you want to try something different, go ahead and grab her. Let's go ahead and move on to the next character. That would be Yat-Sen. Now, Yat-Sen is a character that I personally love. I liked her before her retrofit. I love her now with the retrofit. Her retrofit made her incredibly good. Okay, in my opinion, she is one of the best characters in the game in terms of like retrofit winners, right? So she equips 2 CL guns, right? Which basically gives her a main gun plus 2, right? And then she has her anti-air gun. She doesn't have torpedoes. Now, her efficiencies are actually higher than I remember them being. They're actually quite high. So she does really good damage. Now, you might think that with her anti-air, she wouldn't be that strong, but she has 2 anti-air guns, and her anti-air stat is actually really good at 389. That's pretty damn good. Like for like the anti-air CLs out there, obviously it's lower, but for just a random Dragon Emperor ship as an example, that's a lot. That is a lot. That is a lot. And it just gets better from there, by the way. I mean, look at her retrofit. It's so good. It's so good. The China Wall, as it's called, right? The retrofit made this so much better. It's so good now. So when the battle starts, if there are other Dragon Emperor ships in your fleet, decrease your Yatsen, Ninghai, and Pinghai. Don't worry about Ninghai and Pinghai. Damage taken by 20%. Increase their evasion rate by 30%. And then increases your Dragon Emperor ship's damage dealt by 5%. Now, the best part about this is the evasion rate. That's 30% evasion rate. Okay, that's not evasion stat, right? Evasion stat. That's evasion rate, which is like you basically have a 30% chance to just ignore attacks, basically, which is really, really freaking strong. Okay, and yeah, you can run her with Ninghai and Pinghai, but you really don't need to. You're mostly wanting the evasion rate part and the extra damage for your other Dragon Emperor ships. So she becomes a super tank. Okay, she also has a shit ton of health too. And, well, not a shit ton of health. She has a decent amount of health for a CL, in my opinion, anyways. And then, if you have her special item, which I do have, as you can see, my Yatsen is Oath geared out. And also, if you have her special item, right, more health, more ops damage, she gets a barrier, which makes her even more tanky. So she's, like, her health bar is deceptively tankly. I don't have like actual numbers for her because I do feels crafting around here, right? It feels real good. Okay, it feels real good because we do field crafting around here. So, all right, so back into here, and then our second skill increases ship's damage to enemy Sakura ships by 25%. Now, keep in mind that most of the world battles in the game, like Taiho in World 12, what's her name? Who is on World 13? Basically, all the bosses on the later worlds are all Sakura Empire ships. My brain is just not working right now. It's absolutely fried from today's stream. But basically, every world boss on the later worlds are all more or less Sakura Empire. I think there's 2 battleships in World 15 on 15.1 and 15.2. I think it's Yamashiro and her sister ship. And then it's Shokaku's sister ship that I can't remember on the later worlds. And then the Sakura Empire destroyers. So basically, 25% more damage to the Sakura Empire is pretty damn good, right? Next skill, Retrofit. Increase this ship's speed by 8. She gets a speed boost. That's super good. Speed stat is awesome. Every 12 seconds, she fires a special barrage. If she has her gear on, improves the barrage, and decreases all your other Dragon Emperor ships' damage taken by 5%, and decreases your Dragon Emperor main fleet's damage taken by 10%. So there are some new Dragon Emperor backline ships, so main fleet ships that we've gotten in the current event going on right now that would benefit greatly from this. So if you're finally wanting to run that Dragon Emperor fleet, you can now, and there is actually a ship later on in here that I think is the next best winner of the retrofit. All right, so the next ship that we're going to look at is I'm going to butcher the hell out of this name, Hua-Ja. I'm gonna call her Ja for the rest of this. I'm just gonna call her Ja, all right, or Hua or something along those lines. I make no promises on my ability to name ships here. Okay. And let's see. So I'll be honest with you, I know nothing about the ship. She is a light aircraft carrier for the Dragon Emperor, which means she's probably bad. Most of them are bad before. Yeah, she has 2 seaplanes, anti-air gun, She looks hot. Like, she looks hot. She looks cool, but she's probably bad. Let's go ahead and read her skills. Let's just see what her skills are. Okay, see what her skills are. And the battle starts. For each Dragon Emperor ship in your fleet, increase the ship's aviation accuracy by... Just read her skills. Just ignore that. When the battle starts, for each Dragon Emperor ship in your fleet, increase this ship's aviation and accuracy by 4%. If there is any other Dragon Emperor ship in your fleet, decrease this ship's damage taken by 10%. Okay. When the ship launches an airstrike, decrease your Vanguard's damage taken by 15%. So lots of damage reduction. Okay. When the ship launches an airstrike, increase the ship's damage dealt by 5% until the battle ends. Can be stacked up to 3 times. And launches an additional level 10 special airstrike. Honestly, she's probably going to be the next retrofit. The next time there's a Dragon Emperor run, she'll probably get the next retrofit. Honestly, she's in the special pool now. I would not select her unless she's there for collection or she's super waifu. I wouldn't bother. She's like, her stats are not good enough. Her skills seem okay, and if you're trying to run that Dragon Emperor backline, you're going to need her. But I wouldn't bother for. I would not bother for a direct increase to your account. Now, for the biggest winner of retrofits that has ever been retrofitted. Okay, all right, we have to talk about the weakest ship in the game. Okay. There are many in the community who would tell you that Chen Hai is the weakest ship in the game. Stats, everything. Just absolutely terrible. Okay? However, that is no longer the case. I am willing to fully go on to record here to say that Chen Hai is the winner, the absolute giga winner of retrofits. Okay? She is like, I don't know if she's, this is going to be hyperbolic. I don't know if she's like independence level winner of retrofits, but she's damn freaking close. All right. She gains fighters in her first slot at 150 efficiency. Okay. 150 efficiency, right? With three of them, which is super good for later worlds. Okay. Then her second slot gains an additional aircraft, right? And it can now equip dive bombers, fighters, or torpedo bombers. So she can be an anti-aircraft with a shit ton of fighters and anti-air, which would be absolutely nuts. But she could also be built for damage. You can put like a fucking Tenrai on her or something along those lines. You can put whatever you want on her in these slots. Understand that 150 efficiency in her gear slots is the equivalent of Independence. It's a little bit less than Independence with Eagle Union gear, right? I think she's at 160 in each of her efficiencies. However, most ships, most carriers sit at 140 at most. I think Hakuryu has a 145 efficiency somewhere. That is like the highest efficiency base, I think, in the game. And like Enterprise is like 130 or probably 130, 135. I know that all the Essex class are 130 to 135. So efficiency is very, very good. It's how, the accuracy, the damage, everything, right? How good is the ship at using the planes? So it's real good, and you should definitely like stand up and pay attention. Okay. But technically, I guess this can equip DD guns. Yeah, after the retrofit, she can basically equip everything she wants in here. I don't know why you would want to equip DD guns. That's weird. But dive bombers, fighters, and torpedo bombers is huge. Okay, it's super good with her efficiencies and the stat increase. 363 aviation is not terrible. I mean, 363. She gained 30 aviation. Like from where she was, well, not that's off. From where she was before level 25, she gained 60 aviation. Okay, that's a pretty big jump. That's almost an entire steam catapult, right? It's like 2/3 of a steam catapult, right? And then also, obviously, like, the art is insane, right? So she's definitely the backline ship you're going to want if you're trying to run the Dragon Emperor, right? So let's read her 2 skills. Now, her base skills were actually pretty good from the start. They didn't change at all. She just got a new skill. She doesn't have an augment yet. Maybe she'll get one in the future. That'd be kind of cool. Every 8 seconds fires a level 10 special barrage. Damage is based on the skill's level. When 4 same colored shots in a row from this barrage hits the same enemy, one of the following debuffs are inflicted. If the shots were black, the enemy speed is decreased by 30% for 2 seconds, which is actually really good. A carrier slow, that's awesome. And it's like every 8 seconds fires this barrage. That's pretty good. It's good against bosses, right? Decreasing their speed so they don't move as much, so your carriers and your battleships can hit them. If the shots were white, the enemy damage dealt is decreased by 15%. That's actually really good. Decreasing the damage the enemy deals by 15% is real good. And both can happen at the same time, technically. And they will with her third skill, but we'll get to that in a second. When this ship launches, let me go to second skill. When this ship launches an airstrike, it launches an additional level 10 special airstrike. Damage based on skill level. If your fleet consists entirely of Dragon Emperor ships, improve the special airstrike, and once every 20 seconds, one randomly chosen ship in your fleet will deal 10% increased damage for 5 seconds. Now, the second part of this skill is kind of like whatever, right? She gets a special airstrike, which is nice. More airstrikes is good. And then, but you're probably not going to have a fleet consisting entirely of Dragon Emperor. We have enough to do that, but it's not like necessarily the most viable fleet. You're probably going to have something else in the fleet, but it's possible. You can run Huajia, you can run her, you can run Huan, as I keep calling her, the new battle cruiser from the current event, or other ships along those lines, right? Now her retrofit skill, this is where it pulls her whole kit together, right? Increases ship's aviation by 15%. Hey, another 15% aviation stat, so she'll be hitting up over 400. When this ship launches an airstrike, launches an additional level 10 airstrike with aircraft and monochrome shells. Hits scored with these monochrome shells accounts as hit toward the ship's star-studded formation skill. So the monochrome shells stack both of these, right? Because they're it scored, right? It does both things, so it can apply both effects to the enemy. It's super good. It's also another airstrike. So when she launches an airstrike, right now, when she launches the airstrike, she's launching 2 additional airstrikes at the same time. Her damage is going to be quite good. The amount of fighters that she's going to be putting out in the air is going to be quite good. So if you want another like good, decent carrier and you don't have any other carriers, or you just really like her design, because let's be fair, her base art design that you can see over here and then her retrofit design that you see down here, right? Really good. This is definitely a waifu. This is where my bias is. If you want to make your Dragon Emperor ships better, use her. I've been actually using her in Operation Siren on my mod fleet, just kind of running around. I've used her during the event and in a bunch of other places. I'm having great success with her. No problem. She's not like dying really fast. She is contributing to the damage. It's all good stuff. Okay, cool. On to the next one. Taiwan. Like Jingyuan, Taiwan. There you go. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know anything about this girl. She is a destroyer. She is a missile god destroyer now. I think she got the retrofit. Yeah, she's the one with the retro. God, she's entirely different. Look at this character. Look at this. Oh, you guys can't see. Look at this character. Look at this character. Look at this. Totally different character. So if you want to retrofit, if you want to do her retrofit, then you can. I have no idea. She's a DDG. DDGs are strong. Anybody currently playing Azur Lane will tell you that DDGs are quite strong. Okay. So let's see what she does as a DDG. I honestly have not looked at this yet. When sorting in a full fleet with 6 ships, increase the ship's firepower and reload by 10% and torpedo and evasion, or 25% and 10% for torpedo and evasion. Okay. Interesting. Provides 1 missile strike charge. Okay. Decreases the duration of this ship's burn by 3 seconds. Decreases their burn damage taken by 15%. Every 15 seconds fires a level 10 special barrage, damage based on skill level, and deploys a shield around the frontmost ship in your vanguard that will negate up to 6 enemy shells. Okay, that's not so bad. I don't think it's anything super special, but it's not bad. It's another DDG. It's another destroyer you can use in World 13, 14, and possibly even 15. And it's just fun. Missile rockets, right? They're just fun to swap back and forth between backline and frontline ships. So, yeah. She can bring a shield to your front line if she's in the back line. She's another ship that you can run. Thinking about it now, since you can run DDGs in the back line with other ships like the new BC, Chenhai's retrofit and all this other stuff, and you have other ships you can put in the front line, you could probably make a very interesting Dragon Emperor fleet if you don't already have the other 2 DDGs, which I still think are a little bit more strong, a little bit stronger than this one, but who knows? More testing would have to probably be done. At the moment, I'm still recommending people Taiho for a general improvement to the account, and either Yatsen or Chenhai if they want to improve their Dragon Emperor. And if they don't have that, then I would definitely say this character next, right? If you do have this character, if you already have Yatsen, you already have Chenhai, then you're going to go for Taiyun. Like if you're trying to increase your Dragon Emperor fleets, you're going to go for one of these 3. You're not going to go for Huajia. right? She's not going to increase your Dragon Emperor fleets or anything along those lines. She's so cute, right? She's so cute. All right, now moving away from the Dragon Emperor, we're going to look at Charybdis. Now, Charybdis is a character that came out that I kind of was just like, okay, she's here. Woo, woo, yeah, bye. She's hot. I got a couple of her skins, but you know, we move on. We move on, right? She's another. Was it Hermione class or Dido class? She's another Dido class, which is another Hermione and all this other stuff. I mean, she looks good. Blah 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 blah. Right? Let's read her skills. Okay. When the battle starts, increase the ship's evasion by 10%. Every 20 seconds, 75% chance to spawn a whirlpool that draws in and deals damage to enemies for 1 second. Now, I've heard in passing this whirlpool is kind of not great because I think it goes like right in front of wherever she is instead of being centered. Kind of like, so Bismarck's Y, right? Her black hole goes right into the center and instead of being like right in front of her, which is actually better because that means it's more likely to hit many targets. Whereas Charybdis, it's like right in front of her, so it's not, you can't really control where it goes, if I remember correctly, unless you're on manual. That might be misinformation. I'm not entirely sure, and I'm not really sure how exactly I would find that out again right now, but I remember people talking about that. I could be very wrong. Every time 2 enemy aircraft are shot down with your Vanguard's AA range, within your Vanguard's anti-air range, increase this ship's anti-air by 6%, up to 5 times, so what, 30% once, 10 seconds after the battle starts, and with a 70% chance every 15 seconds after the duration of the first activation. These skills, man, these skills are getting crazy. For 10 seconds, increase this ship's damage dealt by 30%, but increase her damage taken by 10%. This ship is trash. I hate ships that have mechanics like this. I hate ships that have mechanics like this where it's like, here's a bonus, but also here's a negative. Take 10% more damage. It's unnecessary. It's absolutely unnecessary, even if it is supposed to be part of like the lore of the character or something along those lines. These are okay buffs. She's not a bad ship. She's another Dido class CL, so she's got decent anti-air stats, decent buffs, strong overall stats. Like the Dido class of ship are good ships, so she's not a bad choice. But I still think that you're better off with Taiho because you probably already have either better than Charybdis in the form of like San Diego or something along those lines for anti-air, or some other Eagle ship, or you have other Dido class ships already. There are quite a few of them in the game, right? So again, my recommendation right now is again still Taiho, then either one of the Dragon Emperor ships that you would like to help with your Dragon Emperor fleets, in particular Yat-sen over Chen-Hai over what was her name again? Taiyun. Okay. All right. Moving on to Bristol. Bristol is a character that I kind of slept on when she first came out. I wouldn't really think about it too much, but then I watched some other people playing around with her and stuff like that, and I started using her, and I was like, you know what? This character is pretty freaking awesome. And here is why, because she has one of the most important stat reductions in the game. Okay. Every 20 seconds, this ship points her lantern forward. Illuminated enemies suffer 10% reduced evasion rate. So they basically have only like whatever, say their evasion rate was 100%. They have a 100% chance to evade attack, which is not possible. They would only have 90% now, right? They would have 10% chance that they're definitely going to get hit. And so whatever their evasion rate is versus your hit rate and all the other math stuff, I'm not going to do all the math for that. It's good. 10% reduction to something, everything, just flat out, is really good. There's a reason Aurora, the HMS light cruiser, is so good, is because she reduces the evasion rate of destroyers by like 20% and seals by 20%, which is huge. Okay, if 30% buff on Yat-sen for evasion rate and Anchorage's 25 or 30% evasion rate buff is that good, and Harbin's evasion rate is that good. We're gonna come back to that point in a second. Is that good? Then reducing the enemy's evasion rate is also really, really good, right? So plus she's just a strong stat destroyer. I believe she's an L&M summoner class, which just makes her general stats quite good. Yeah, she's an L&M summoner. And then her second skill, every 20 seconds summons Data 857. When Data 857 is summoned, fire a special barrage. For 10 seconds, increase the ship's accuracy and critical rate by 15%. That's huge. During battle, increase damage by 10% that your L&M Summoner class ships deal to enemies that have been illuminated at least twice. So she's better in boss fleets for longer fights, because 20 seconds, 40 seconds, right? The first time each battle this skill activates, increase the damage your L&M Summoner class ships deal by 10% until the end of that battle. So it's basically like a 20% damage buff for L&M Summoner class ships. It's pretty good. I always pretty much always paid more attention to her first skill than her second one, but that's pretty good because I like Alan M. Sumner, like the namesake of the troop. She's a very strong destroyer, so you could pair her up with other Eagle destroyers for maximum bonus, and or just the reduced evasion rate, or just self buffing. She's good. She's very, very good. Honestly, at this point, looking at all the characters, right? Out of all those characters, Taiho, Yatsen, Huajia, Chenhai, Taiyun, Charybdis, and Bristol, I think that your best two choices for account improvement, like overall account improvement and synergy, is either Taiho or Bristol, because Taiho just brings a strong barrage-based carrier and all this other stuff, and heavy armor carrier to your fleet, plus waifu. Bristol brings a strong destroyer to your fleet that you can use in, say, World 14 or even World 15. World 14 is going to have really strong with the evasion right now and the illumination, right? Those two are going to probably improve your account the most overall because they are more universally slotted in various different fleets that you can run on your account, depending on what you have. I would say then after that, Charybdis is probably actually not a bad choice if you don't already have good Dido class CLs or any good anti-air answers, right? She's a pretty good choice for that because of the way her skills work out to be. But again, that's if you don't already have it, which you probably will. It's like one of those, like if there's Taiho and Bristol here, then Charybdis is kind of off to the side, and then the Chinese ships are up here, right? Now, Yatsen, I'm actually going to talk about this real quick. So Yatsen gives that 20%, evasion rate bonus to herself and all that other stuff, right? Damage, right? Their synergies together are quite good. And if you have Harbin, who also has a massive evasion rate buff, a 35% evasion rate buff, you can create between these two, between Yatsen and Harbin now, because Yatsen no longer requires Ping Hai or Ning Hai for her buffs. She just needs one other any Dragon Emperor ship, right? Let me just make sure I'm understanding that again correctly, right? When the battle starts, if there are other Dragon Emperor ships in your fleet, so any other, Yatsen, Ninghai, and Pinghai will all get those bonuses, but you only need one other ship. You can run Ninghai or Pinghai if you want, but there are better options now, like Anshan or Harbin. Running these two together basically creates what is now the new China Wall, right? They can basically survive almost anything. There's not a lot of stuff that can actually take them down because of their personal evasion rate. Like 35% chance to just say, nah, you don't hit me is really good. I may be harping on the evasion rate quite a bit, but trust me, it is very, very good. And having a solid vanguard is something I think a lot of people don't take into account too often when trying to build fleets. It's like, oh, the big battleships, the big carriers. No, having your front line basically say, nah, you can't kill me is super good. Okay. So that's why after Taiho and Bristol, Charybdis to the side, I would say Yatsen, and then Chenhai, and then the other two Chinese ships. And then obviously, if you're missing one for collection, take it. And on top of that, if you just want a waifu, take it. Unless your waifu is one of the lollies, then I don't know about that. But that hopefully will help answer the question on what character you should pick for the Spring Festival invitation. And if this was helpful, please leave a like, leave a comment, maybe talking about what you're going to pick, why you're picking them, or if you have other advice for other people as to what they should pick and the reasons they should pick them. Feel free to leave a comment below, and maybe consider subscribing. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.